We are very pleased to have David Baker, the president, CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame down in Canton. Certainly a place that is in the news on this day in the sports world and all around the world because the Hall of Fame game slated for August 6th, the Steelers and the Cowboys, has been forced to be postponed until next year. It will be brought back next year. August 5th will be the date. And the enshrinement ceremonies, which were going to be and always are so wonderful, David, they have also been pushed until next summer, 2021. So as you've come out and said, you can double the fun in 2021 for next year. It's going to be quite a summer. But let's go back to this decision. I think a lot of people can totally understand why it had to go this way.
Yeah, obviously we worked with the governor's office, the lieutenant governor. We worked obviously with the NFL, who plays a big role in this. We've got 17 partners between the Chamber of Commerce and our Visitors and Convention Bureau, obviously ESPN, NFL Network, NBC. So it's a lot of people to go through, but we had our meeting with our board of trustees, and everybody felt that this was, we wouldn't do anything unless it was safe for the people that we care about, our enshrinees that we're trying to honor, our Hall of Famers, some of who are in an older demographic yet as it is and may be more vulnerable. So we thought this was the best thing for our community as well. But what it means, I think, for Northeast Ohio is that next year, we'll have the draft in Cleveland, which will be huge for all of Northeast Ohio. And then we'll have two enshrinements really in one extended weekend, Jim. And like I said, it will be twice the fun in 21. But that next class, in addition to the Centennial class for 2020 with two Hall of Famers, that next class is going to have Peyton Manning in it for sure. Maybe Calvin Johnson or Charles Woodson. It's going to be a big class. So this will be by far the biggest enshrinement, and I think the biggest kickoff to an NFL season ever.
David, when the game was announced that it was going to be the Steelers and the Cowboys, I understand it sold out in about 22 minutes when it was announced. Now, this all started happening, and we started living in this current state of affairs back in March. After the 22 minutes when it was sold out and what was going on, were you starting to get concerned about whether or not the game would be played, or did you say, like all of us, we have time on our side here?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of time because the game was sold out. The enshrinement, frankly, sold 15,000 tickets for a stadium that holds 21,000. And so we knew it was going to sell out quickly, and we kind of suspended sales. But everything, if you recall, Jim, kind of hit the fan on March 11th, that night, Wednesday night, when the NBA was suspended their season, spring training was canceled, NASCAR stopped. Everybody in the sports world just ground to a halt that Wednesday night. 36 hours later on Friday, our tickets went on sale. So I was really concerned. And then when they sold out in 22 minutes, and we've had very few people call and say that they want their money back. I mean, I think we had one party that had 16 people in it. And other than that, everybody, they were ready for this thing. So I think for your fans out there, your listeners, your viewers, they can go to profootballhalloffame.com. If we have their email address, they'll be getting an email today. Mm-hmm. If they can get their money back if they need it, or they can retain that ticket for next year's enshrinement, which is going to be special. And the good news is we got the Cowboys and the Steelers in next year's game already.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be great. I mean, that's a great rivalry anyway. It's given us some of the great games all time in the NFL, and they certainly have worldwide fan bases, no doubt about that. Tell me this. You're always famous for knocking on the door of a player that has just received the amount of votes that they needed to be inducted into the next class. And that's a great moment. And those great moments that you had this year when you walked into those television studios to tell Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher that they were going to be inducted into this Centennial class into the Hall of Fame. But I imagine now on the other side of this, because of this development, you had to pick up the telephone, I assume, and tell these guys it's not going to happen this year, but it will happen next year.
Yeah, we called all 12 living enshrinees and the families of the 8 posthumous enshrinees today. And frankly, they were great, Jim. I mean, they wanted it to be safe. Everyone approved of the decision. And frankly, if I could kind of paraphrase all their answers, it's, hey, I'm just glad to be in Canton. Right. And I can't wait to get there. And if I got to wait till next year, I will. They were very understanding and super. And we had thought, Jim, about having a virtual enshrinement, which is kind of like the interview you and I are doing, and it's such the rage in media right now out of necessity. But frankly, one of the things that's so special about what you guys started here in Canton is that it's not just the person being enshrined, it's their family, it's their friends, it's their teammates that help get them there. And we want to make sure that they have the opportunity to celebrate and be honored with all the people that got them to Canton. So I think everyone appreciated it, felt it was the right decision. They're not looking to wait. Interestingly enough, when I knocked on the doors at last year's Super Bowl in Miami, Isaac Bruce made me knock 3 times because I made him wait a couple of years, so he wanted to make me wait. So when I called him today, this had nothing to do with making Isaac Bruce wait.
Yeah.
But, he's ready for it.
Tell me this, David. It's such a civic event, all of the events wrapped into the week of the Hall of Fame each and every summer. And I know that the residents of Canton, they all take part in it. Everybody's on a committee. Everybody's at an event during the week. And of course, they want to go to the enshrinement, and they fill the stadium, and then they go to the game too. So I know it's next summer, and we push forward, and I know it, but it is a tough hit for Canton.
It is a tough hit, Jim, and I appreciate your sensitivity in noting that. We're partners with the Chamber of Commerce and the Visitors and Convention Bureau. This is big for our hotels, our restaurants, all our businesses bring people here, to sell their businesses. So it's an economic hit to the gut. But what in the end we felt that next year's enshrinement is going to be so special,
right,
and it is going to be by far the biggest enshrinement ever, that we will be more, our businesses, our region, our city, they're going to be more ready for this next year than frankly we are right now. So to maximize it, next year seems to be the right time. And, the reaction we've gotten from the businesses and the community is the same. They're disappointed, but they think it's the right thing. And we're going to be more ready for it next year than we ever could be now.
To all of us who are such passionate football fans, and it really rings true in this area of Northeast Ohio, should we be at all concerned that what you had to do today in moving the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, the game, and the festivities to a year from now, should we be worried that this will have any telltale sign about the start of the NFL season?
Jim, I tell you, that's the question for the commissioner, much more than me, and certainly the owners that he is meeting with today on that issue. But from my perspective, I think there's going to be football no matter what happens. The question is, how many fans could this be?
Right.
We wanted to be respectful to Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted, who've worked so hard on this issue. We don't want to endanger anybody. The Browns and the Bengals are going to have that same decision.
Right.
And I think, frankly, there's enough fans out there, and they're so passionate about their football. If they open it up, you'd have full stadiums to be sure,
right,
especially since we've all been quarantined and are looking for something like that.
Yeah.
But, I think that, one, data point that's important to remember, 69% of the revenue for the NFL comes from television.
Yeah.
So, they could not have fans. They could put their games on television. They're still going to sell some merchandise. They're still going to sell some sponsorships related to television. And they're still going to do really, really well. So I think they do that. And I will also tell you, the NFL has a wonderful history, Jim, of when the country's in trouble, kind of helping them get focused. They certainly did that in 9/11 and helped the whole country to come back together when we had been sucker punched.
Yeah.
They did that, I think, with the draft when we were all quarantined.
They did.
And came together. And I think they're going to do that with the season as well.
Last question for you. I'm going to let you make a sales pitch here right now. I think it's important to point this out to everybody. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is open, okay? And I know a lot of people probably, rather than traveling, abroad or on airplanes right now, maybe they're taking day trips and car trips. Canton should still be your destination.
Yeah, Jim, we like to say that the Pro Football Hall of Fame is now reopened for inspiration.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people need some inspiration because of the quarantine and everything that's going on. And it's been fun to see it open. We went to great lengths here to make sure that this is safer than going to the grocery store or to Home Depot or Costco. We have all the measures that meet or exceed state guidelines. And it's been fun the last couple days. We opened up on June 10th to see families and kids here. Many, by the way, are people who are traveling a long way to get here. So it's really fun to see, and a lot of stuff, as you can see, you can hear my phone. I'm sorry, other people are coming now. So we're excited about it. I hope you'll come on down. And if your viewers haven't been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in a long time, they'll enjoy what they see here.
David, all right. Thanks very much. We'll double the fun in 21, and I appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you so much, Jim. Take care.